Hi there, here is Shai. So, Trek Fuel EX versus Trek Remedy. There is no easy answer to this question, and this one you've been asking me quite a lot, so I'm going to try to help you. And the principle of doing this episode is that I've been trying to imagine myself as a beginner mountain biker coming to the store or to this website, having no clue whatsoever about all these full suspension only bikes of Trek. So Trek has been making a wonderful range of bikes and a lousy website. Sorry for the critics, but I think you should improve this one. So I'm going to show you different full suspension bikes of Trek, and then we're going to focus mainly on Fuel EX because otherwise I would be doing this episode for hours and hours and talking for hours. I'm going to talk a little bit about Remedy, and then we'll do also the Remedy versus Slash Trek on another episode, alright? So, full suspension bikes. We have suspension both in the front and in the rear. These are quite versatile, comfortable, a bit heavier than hardtails, but also a lot of fun bikes. Let's start with the one that has the least travel in the rear. So 100 millimeters of your travel, both front and rear. This is the Top Fuel, Trek Top Fuel, and this is the cross-country or MTB marathon bike. So this is mainly for racing, racing geometry, light, quite expensive too, but there are no cheap bikes here. Then we have, remember, 100 millimeters of travel. Then we have 130 millimeters of travel with Fuel EX. To make it a bit more complicated, you can ride these bikes on either 29-inch bike or 27.5 plus tires. So you have two options just within 130 millimeters of travel of Fuel EX. Then we have Trek Remedy, 150 millimeters of travel. This one is 27.5 non-plus, so the mid-size wheel. Then we have Slash, which is also 150 millimeters of travel, and this one is 29er, so we're going to focus on these two the next time. And finally, downhill bike Easy, 210 millimeters in the rear. This is downhill bike, so let's just delete this one. Now, Fuel EX versus Remedy. I'm going to show you the range of Fuel EX bikes because it is not easy thing to find yourself there. And why is the Trek website lousy? Because I don't understand all these things. Okay, women's bike, mountain bikes here. Women's trail, cross-country, downhill fat bikes. Okay, I'm interested in trail, so that's okay. So you click the trail bikes. And here you have so many options. You have Fuel EX, you have Remedy, you have Slash, you have carbon bikes, you have aluminum bikes, and this is so complicated here. So let's just go for the Fuel EX range. So these are the bikes, Fuel EX. Once more, 130 millimeters of travel, 29 or 27.5 plus wheels. So the frame will be compatible with those, and here is the range of the bikes. So let's just click view all, and then we'll sort those bikes by price from low to high. And once more, now we are looking only at one model of Trek, and still we are not pretty sure what it's all about. Of course, the higher the model, the better components you'll get, so it will be lighter. It will be lighter, the bike, so that's for sure. But there is, I would say, aluminum bikes, half carbon bikes, 3/4 carbon bikes, and full carbon bikes. So let me show you that. We are starting certainly from the aluminum alloy bike, so the Fuel EX5. I'm having it here. That will be aluminum alloy, and then all the bikes through this range with the women's 3 models for women, very good, thank you Trek for that, up to the EX9, all these bikes are aluminum alloy with same features, different components but same features, and those features are 130 millimeters of travel, fully aluminum alloy frame, either 29 or 27.5 plus wheel compatible, boost system both in the front or in the rear. To make long story short, wider axles on front and rear wheels, so stiff and strong bicycle. You're gonna have some really good technologies that Trek uses here. That would be the Link. You can flip the link and change the geometry. More about that just in a second. And you also have the pivot, not on the chain stays or the seat stays, but here in the middle, so in the axle of the rear triangle, which is really cool. The travel doesn't affect your braking, and the braking doesn't affect working of your travel. Then you also have the floating damper here, which many riders just love. And all these features will be available on all the Trek fuel bikes. So if you're gonna look through the range of the aluminum alloy bikes, it will be all the same except for the components. So from the alloy aluminum bikes, I would go for the cheapest one, which is the EX5 for $2,200. So we know that. Then it gets a bit more complicated. If you have those models from 5 to 9, these are alloy, and when you get digit, that means there's something to do with the carbon. So Trek, couldn't you just say carbon range? Wouldn't be easier? Yes, it would. But now, these are the carbon bikes, but Trek Fuel EX 9.7, so this one, will have carbon front triangle and aluminum alloy rear triangle. So rear triangle, should say seat stays and chain stays will be aluminum alloy. Okay. Then we have Trek Fuel 9.8, which will have carbon front triangle, carbon seat stays and aluminum alloy chain stays, and finally, easier, full carbon bike. So seat stays, chain stays, front triangle, carbon on Trek Fuel EX 9.9. Okay, is it easier now? Once more, 9.8 will have this part here made of aluminum, 9.7 will have a whole aluminum rear triangle and the front triangle made of carbon. So now we finally know which one would I choose. It depends, of course, on how much money you have, but if you are on the budget, of course, alloy will be the cheapest one. But if you want to have a bit lighter bike, I would just go for the cheapest one from among the carbon bikes, which is the 9.7. So carbon front triangle and alloy rear end. You can also compare the weights. That's great, Trek, what you've made, because we have the weights here. So the most expensive one will cost will have the 11.34 kilo of the weight, and the alloy, the cheapest one, will be 3 kilo more, will have 14.65. So 3 kilos is a lot, but also $2,200 versus $8,400 is just a lot. And also see that less than half of price of this bike, you have already some carbon part at least of this bike. So the front triangle will be carbon, and it's $4,000 against $8,000. Okay, so I would go for this one if money was no problem for me, and if I would go for for the speed and going for some races, I wouldn't use the trail bike anyway. I would go either for cross country or enduro. So I don't see the point of spending $8,000 for such a kind of bike. All right. So my tips: Fuel EX 9.7 or Fuel EX5. Shortly about Remedy. So Remedy is the 27.5 wheel. We had 29-inch wheel or 27.5 plus, so wider on the Fuel EX. Here we have 27.5 and we have 150 millimeters of travel. When would I go for Remedy instead of Fuel EX? I would go for Remedy if I felt like I needed more travel and I did not really need 29-inch wheels, but still not wanting to be racing in the enduro, because then I would go for Slash. Okay, so very shortly. In terms of geometry, the Fuel will have, the Remedy will have the slacker head angle, so it will be more for higher speed. So I would say Remedy will be closer to enduro and Fuel will be just trail bike. What's misleading in the description is that Trek say that Fuel has also cross-country DNA. It doesn't have. This is not a cross-country bike. I would never go for cross-country on such a bike. Maybe some MTB marathons if I wanted to go sometimes, but if I was shooting for performance, that would be top Fuel. This is cross-country, full suspension bike, and it fits there. So Fuel EX is just in the middle. I would say amateur riding. And that's pretty much what I could help you with here. I think Fuel EX will be very good for amateur riders, some weekend warriors having fun in the forest, lighter than Remedy. Remedy still in between, so on the next episode I'm gonna compare Remedy to Slash. But Fuel EX, either the cheapest one, aluminum, or the cheapest carbon. These are my tips. If you are riding or had been riding any of these, let us know in the comment section so that those buyers will have an easier job choosing the right bike for them. Now you will find out, you will find yourself in the range of those full suspension Trek bikes. Thank you for watching. See ya.